Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. I am so incredibly pumped you're here today. We are bringing you a definitive step-by-step masterclass on conquering artificial intelligence. Now, if you already follow tech, you probably know about some of the tools out there. But today, we are cutting through all that noise to give you the exact, actionable structure you need to truly master and ultimately monetize AI. Look, we've got to start with a really serious question today because honestly, the stakes couldn't be higher right now. Are you growing with AI or are you falling behind? We are living through a massive, undeniable technological revolution. Those who are evolving and actively learning these new AI skills, they're seeing absolutely incredible career growth. But those who are running away from it, the skeptics who think this is just some passing trend, they're already starting to fall behind. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what that divide looks like in real time. Economists actually call this a K-shaped economy. So on the upward trajectory of that K, you have the AI adopters. They're multiplying their productivity, advancing in their careers, and building real wealth. But on the downward slope, you've got the AI skeptics, whose skills are just rapidly becoming outdated. You absolutely want to be on that upward slope, and that is exactly what we're going to achieve today. So here is our step-by-step agenda. 1. The AI revolution. 2. Decoding the buzzwords. 3. The ultimate learning roadmap. 4. Mastering prompt engineering. And 5. Monetizing your AI skills. Section 1. The AI revolution. From robotic mice to ChatGPT. You know, there's this really common misconception that AI just kind of popped out of thin air a couple of years ago. But actually, scientists have been discussing this concept since the 1920s. And by the 1950s, we had a practical example, a literal robotic mouse named Theseus. It was built using telephone relays and used basic rule-based logic to navigate a maze. Pretty wild, right? Progress kind of dragged for decades after that, until the massive internet data boom in the 2000s. And that culminated in late 2022 when ChatGPT launched and became the Google moment for AI. Suddenly, all this massive computing power was accessible to everyone, just through simple conversation. All right, Section 2. Decoding the buzzwords. Understanding the foundations. Okay, before we start running with all these complex tools, we've got to build a really solid foundation. First up, artificial intelligence itself. At its core, AI is really just teaching computers to recognize patterns and make decisions like a human would. So instead of hard-coding every single rule, we feed the machine examples. It's exactly like teaching a child. You show them thousands of pictures of cats and dogs until they just naturally learn to identify the differences entirely on their own. Next up is machine learning, which is a specific subset of AI. This is where computers learn from experience without us having to explicitly program every single scenario. Think about when you learn to ride a bike. Nobody could explain the exact mathematical physics of how to balance on two wheels to you, right? But through practice and experience, your brain just figures it out. Machine learning works the exact same way, just with massive, massive sets of data. And then we have neural networks. These are literally inspired by how our own human brains work, using interconnected layers of artificial neurons. I want you to imagine a highly coordinated relay race. One runner processes a tiny bit of information, like maybe detecting the edges of an image, and then passes the baton to the next runner, who detects the shapes, and so on. Layer by layer, they process that information step by step until they reach a final, highly sophisticated result. And finally, generative AI, or Gen AI. Now, this is the really cool stuff we're seeing everywhere today. It's AI that actually creates new, completely original content. Imagine an incredible master artist who has spent their entire life studying millions of paintings from all over the world. Because they've seen so much, they can now generate completely original artwork in literally any style you ask for. That is generative AI in action. Section 3. The ultimate learning roadmap, a step-by-step technical path. Okay, let's dive into this. How do we actually build these skills? Well, our roadmap takes you from a total beginner to a builder in 6 clear steps. Basics, Python, machine learning, deep learning, projects, and Gen AI tools. Now, I know looking at this entire journey all at once might feel a little intimidating, but just remember, it is literally just one step at a time. You do not need a PhD for this. You just need patience and curiosity. Let's zoom in a bit on step 2, Python. Our source perfectly describes Python as the paintbrush of AI. It's your main tool. And listen, you don't need to be a master programmer here. You just need to understand basic logic, things like variables, loops, and if-else statements. And here is a massive pro tip for you. Do not try to memorize the syntax. Seriously, professional developers Google things all day long.
Just aim to code for about 30 minutes a day. In this journey, consistency absolutely beats intensity.
But listen, all the theory in the world means absolutely nothing if you can't build something real. That brings us to step 5, crucial AI projects. This is where your knowledge actually transforms into a tangible skill. You need to be building things. Things like image classifiers that can tell a cat from a dog, voice-to-text models, sentiment checkers that can read product reviews and tell if they're positive or negative, or even fake news detectors. Getting your hands dirty with messy data is where the real magic happens.
Moving on to Section 4, Mastering Prompt Engineering, Controlling the AI.
So once you start using modern generative AI, you really have to know how to talk to it. Think of AI kind of like a magic genie, right? It's totally obedient, but it is incredibly literal. If you ask a genie for unlimited money, well, it might grant your wish by robbing every bank on Earth and sending you to jail. Or, it might just crash the entire global economy. A vague prompt backfires because the AI just fills in the blanks with its own wild assumptions. So the absolutely crucial point here is how you structure your request. A weak, vague prompt like, hey, help me prepare for an interview, is just going to get you super generic, obvious advice. Instead, you've got to use frameworks, things like AIM, Actor, Input, Mission, or RCF, Role, Context, Format. You explicitly tell the AI you are a senior technical recruiter at Google. You give it your specific resume for context, and you demand a bulleted format for the output. Highly engineered prompts will always yield highly intelligent outputs. And once you actually know how to prompt, you need to know which tools to use. Because let's face it, the landscape right now is completely dizzying. For text and chat, stick to the heavy hitters: ChatGPT, Gemini, or Claude. For deep research, NotebookLM and Perplexity are just phenomenal. If you need image generation, Midjourney and NanoBanana are the gold standards. For ultra-realistic video generation, tools like Vio 3 and Sura are completely changing the game. And for presentations, tools like Gamma can build beautiful slide decks for you in minutes. Don't get overwhelmed. Just pick 2 or 3 that fit your workflow and master them.
And finally, Section 5, Monetizing Your AI Skills, the Ultimate Reward.
All right, so you've learned the basics, you've built the projects, and you've mastered the tools. Now, it is time to translate this incredible new knowledge into real-world income. Our sources outline 3 very distinct paths for this. First, you can sell a service. Become a freelance AI content creator producing cinematic ads for brands, or maybe a web developer building sites in a fraction of the normal time. Second, you can scale into a business by building an AI agency or your very own software app. And third, you can pursue a highly lucrative career as an AI engineer or researcher at a major tech company. The opportunities here are literally endless. Which brings us to one final, absolutely essential question for you to answer today. What will you build with AI? You have the roadmap, you have the frameworks, and trust me, you know the stakes. The K-shaped economy is moving, and it waits for no one. So open up a tool, write your first line of Python, or engineer your first perfect prompt. Take action right now. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I seriously can't wait to see what you create.